Well, hi everyone, it's me, Kat. Hello? Hello? Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody out there in cyberspace, internet, whatever, what have you? Okay, I'm back to my questions. I'm multitasking right now. So the princess Gia, she starts high school on Monday. Oh my gosh. So she's opting to do on campus at Jean Paul II High School. So she starts online Monday for 10 days and then she'll go on to the campus. But she is going to be on their volleyball team, and so she's in there right now at volleyball practice. So I'm multitasking. So here we are, back to the 30-day live video challenge questions, and I'm in the passion section of my questions, and the question is, are you leading or are you following? Hi Chris. Oh my gosh, I can't wait until tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm gonna put makeup on and everything, and I'm gonna wash my hair. I'm so excited. Anyway, I've digressed. Am I leading or following? I think I'm doing both. I'm definitely leading some people. I know I have a lot of people right now that that are listening to me and paying attention to some of the things I'm saying, probably laughing a lot at me too, because you got to admit I am kind of funny. I think I'm funny. I laugh at myself all the time. But yeah, so I'm leading in quite a few different directions in my life, and I'm also following though, because every good leader needs to have someone that they follow, and that's a concept that was very foreign to me for a long time. And it's because I've never really had any strong leaders in my life until Zach came along. I really didn't. I guess I'm very old-fashioned when it comes to leading and following. I don't know if any of you pay attention to or know, the alpha, beta system of how relationships work, any kind of relationship. And although on the surface it would appear that I'm an alpha kind of personality, I'm actually a beta personality, which that's a very misunderstood concept. I think a lot of times people think that a beta personality is sometimes considered to be the weaker of the two parties in a relationship, but I believe that the complete opposite of that. I think that in the perfect circumstances, under the optimal conditions, a beta following a strong leader is actually, it's like they balance each other out. It's like yin and yang. So I think all of my life, I was put in a position for so many years in my marriages to, who, I can't say his name because I never know if someday some of these things are going to come back and bite me. I don't want to get myself sued someday or whatever, but because everything I say is true. I am very honest and open about my entire life, and but I'm changing the names of the innocent and the guilty to protect them and to protect me. So anyway, I never, in my marriages to him, and I've had three, I guess you could say I've had three significant relationships with men before Zach. There was him, my husband, the father of my children, and then there was the blaze of glory, Mitch, the one on the motorcycle that, my gosh, it's been 21 years. I really, really, really loved. That was the first man that I ever actually really was loved and was loved by. That was other than, my son. He was a leader. He was an alpha personality, and I had a lot of respect for him. I was with him for 2 years, and that's the one who hit the wall on his motorcycle the week that he asked me to marry him, of all things. It was the night of his 35th birthday. that was one of my biggest tragedies and traumas. That's a whole other story, but he was a very strong personality, and up until I met Mitch, I don't think I'd ever really had the respect enough for a man to take any type of direction from them. So he was my first experience with the alpha beta personality combination, but up until that point, I think I had been in relationships where I had to be the alpha. I felt like I had to be, because I had to handle my own business, because I didn't trust my leadership, I guess you can say. I never felt secure or safe in the relationships I had with this. I'm talking about men, but this can apply to relationships I've had with women as well. And whatever. But yeah, I never really had enough respect for a human man to give them, I guess, the reins of my domain. And Mitch was the first experience I had with that. He was a really, really good guy. He was a big personality. But that was really the first man that ever came along that I had a modicum of respect for. And so that was a good relationship. That was a perfect segue to when Zach came along. So so then there was Mitch, and then I had another significant relationship with he's pretty much the friggin' devil incarnate. This is the one who made me want to shoot my own self in the head. He drove me crazy. He was a narcissist. I don't know if you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, but that's that's something right there. That guy. And by the way, that guy is in my life still to this day. He's still reaching out to me and contacting me, and to this day, this man doesn't realize, I don't think he understands what I really think about him. I communicate with him. He's always reaching out to me. I don't reach out to him, and he's claims to have all this admiration for me and respect and blah blah blah. But meanwhile, I'm thinking to myself, but honestly, you're kind of a douche. So anyway, that guy, he tried to be an alpha, but really he was a weak. When a man, most men that I've found that are narcissists are actually very weak human beings. I think that they're very. I tend to see narcissistic men as very insecure. Actually, and after you end up looking at the big picture, they're just insignificant, of no true. How do I say it? Yeah. So a narcissistic man on the surface looks like he's trying to be an alpha leader, but really he's a beta. Actually, I don't even know what that is. They're just weak human beings that think they have to manipulate and control people to make themselves feel a little bit bigger and better about themselves. But so then Zach came along, and that was my biggest experience with the dynamic between an alpha, beta. I took every direction. My husband, I was one of those in my relationship with Zach, and I've mentioned this before to many people and many times, but I had so much respect for my husband from the day that I met him. There was just something about him, and if you knew him at all, you know what I'm saying is true. Before he got sick, and before he literally, he lost his mind, and at the end, he wasn't the Zach that we all knew and loved. He was very, very, very sick in his own head, and that's the truth. But before he got sick, my husband was one of the most incredible men. He was a leader. He was a kind, empathetic, strong leader. When my husband wanted something from me or needed something to be done, I did whatever he said. I did whatever my husband asked me to do. And it was really cool, because all the years that before I met my husband, I it's like when you're trying to follow a quote leader that isn't doing a good job, or that is abusing their power, so to speak, that is such an uncomfortable feeling. It's like, it's a scary feeling. It's like when you have an innate desire to follow someone, or I guess let the alpha do their job, and you want to do this so that really you're here, but the person that you're trying to follow isn't doing a good job for whatever reason. It's very uncomfortable. It's a scary feeling. You don't feel safe. You don't feel secure. With Zach, I felt safe. I felt secure. And I knew that all of the decisions that my husband made for me and him and for our family, all the decisions that he made for me and for us, he did with my bench. My husband put me and our daughter's needs before his own. So, and such that everything that he did was always in our best interest, believe it or not. So when he was being bossy, or when it looked on the surface like he was being bossy, it wasn't, that's not the way it was. I was happy to follow him and to take his direction on everything. And look where I am to this day. I mean, giving the reins to another human being that you can trust, especially when you are, like me, someone who with my personality type, I work best with good leadership. I don't want to be the center of I don't want to be in control. I don't want to have the reins. That's a lot of responsibility, by the way. Being an alpha is a lot of responsibility. And that's, for me, I mean, I want to do what I want to do, and I want to lead how I want to lead, but I don't want the whole responsibility of it. And that's not a cop-out, by the way. That's just that I know what my strengths are, and I know what my weaknesses are, and I work best with good leadership. And I work best when someone is, I guess, telling me what to do. As long as that person that's telling me what I need to do, I can trust them, and I have faith in them, and I have respect for them. So yeah, with Zach, it was 11 years of me taking direction. I served him. I was subservient to my husband, and I know a lot of women are going to take issue with that, but that it's true. And I have to be honest with you, it worked, because I got more done under my husband's leadership, and I grew so much in that 11 years that the 40 years before I met him, I mean, there was no growth. There was no because it's like I was just like fumbling around in the dark looking, I mean, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And I couldn't find anyone that I could trust to follow. So yeah, I followed my husband. I did what he said, and look where I am. So with that, you all know that I'm in this thing, the Lion's Den, with the Sean Whalen. This Sean Whalen guy, I know I've been talking about him. The neat thing about Sean, he is my mentor. He's my biggest mentor right now. He's a tough guy. He's definitely an alpha. He's an alpha male all the way. But the thing is, with Sean, much like my husband, so far, everything, from my perspective, everything that Sean directs or leads, all the directions he's pulling the people that are following him in, he's leading us the right way. And we're being led towards the truths, our own truths, and I don't know. So yeah, I gladly take direction from a strong leader, whether it's a man or a woman. I don't have many women in my life that I don't know why that is. I mean, I've told you, I have a very cloistered, kind of sequestered existence that I'm in. So I don't have that many people in my atmosphere. So I haven't had that many effective women leaders, but it's not because I haven't known any. It's just that I've never really had that type of relationship with women. I work best in relationship with men. That's where I grow. I think that has a lot to do with, I think that's very symbolic of my spirituality, because the way I look at it, when I look at a man, there's a man and there's a woman. When I look at a man, I'm looking at a man as though I'm looking at, to me, I think that God is a man. I see him as a male presence, or an alpha male type presence. That's just me. That's what I think. I don't know. For all we know, God is no gender, but this is, in my mind, how I see that relationship. And I always, whenever all the men in my life before, I've always, it's uncanny. As I've grown through the last 51 years, my relationship with God has strengthened and grown as I've found more respect, and I've understood the purpose and the power of a man, and of a male presence, or a leadership presence in my life. Because I've had so many, unfortunately, toxic men in my life that weren't leading me well. And, if not being, I've been in abusive relationships. I've had toxic relationships, very unhealthy relationships with all of the men in my life. And unfortunately, that started with my father. So in my mind, the relationship I had with God, my higher power, was in a direct correlation to how I saw the men in my life, which up until a certain point, they weren't the healthiest. I've got toxic men syndrome. And so for the longest time, that's what I saw. I correlated men with God, and therefore I was having a hard time taking leadership from him either, because I was like, man, what, I would think God's some man sitting up somewhere on his little chair, just like being mean and bossing people around, and like, I don't know. I saw him as I saw the powerful presences of men in my life. And as my understanding of men in general, and again, the presence and the power of a strong man in my life has grown and changed. I've learned to respect what a good, strong man looks like, and a good, strong leader man looks like. My relationship with God has completely changed, because now I realize that I was looking at God. I was comparing God to the men that had formerly basically destroyed me, or they weren't leading me well. So now that, so I've really grown. So yep, I'm a leader, and yes, I'm definitely a follower under the right circumstances. I will follow where someone wants to lead me, but only if they're leading me in the right way, in the right places. I don't know what that's going to look like for me down the road, because as I've said, I don't know what the future holds. As far as, I always say, I've had 2 kings in my life. I've been lucky enough to be in love, true unconditional love, 2 times in my life. There was Mitch and there was Zach. I've had true love twice. Some women never have it once. So I've had that. And so if I never have that again, I'm never going to have it again. And I'm good, because it's like I've been there and I've done that, and I know. And now that I know what I know about men and love and relationships and marriage, I will never settle for anything less than another king. So if there's a third last king out there waiting for me somewhere, and he is worthy of my attention, and he is worthy of my respect, and he is worthy of I am willing to hand over the reins of my domain to someone in that capacity under the optimal circumstances. It would take a very huge presence of a man in this world in order to make that happen. But I don't know. as for now, I'm leading me. I am the man and the woman of my household. And it's fine because I'm doing it. I'm following, I'm leading, and that's that. I hope some of this made sense to everybody, because there's a point I was trying to get across. I think I did it. So I love all of you guys, and I think the bug's about to come out. Yep, she's going to be out in just a couple minutes. So I'm going to hang up on everyone and make it a good night. Bye. Girl, bye. And boys, bye to you too. Bye.